Hey everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. Don't forget to like and share the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't. You can check out our merch store. We'll have a link in the description for that. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Today is June 17th, 2024. It's actually pretty nice out today. It was really humid yesterday. We got some rain overnight. It's cooler today. If the sun would break out, I think it would get pretty muggy again today. But it's supposed to be storms on and off, some rain this afternoon, storms tomorrow. So we're kind of working around that. I'm not doing any haying today just because there's too much chance of rain coming. I'm hoping maybe Wednesday, Thursday to make a little hay. But what we're going to work on today, so we've had a whole barrage of cows and heifers calve. So we're actually milking a few switch cows right now. And we're running out of, we got to find a spot to put the switch cows when we're switching them. So we've got this old barn here next to the main barn. Shown it before. I had heifers in here, but with all the big rains that we were getting, where this barn is like one of the lowest places on the farm, and I try to build it up around the front so the water can't get in there, but I think it came down so hard in that one rain that it filled a bunch of water in here, and I couldn't keep it bedded up enough, so we just got the calves out of there and it's just been sitting empty. But I think for our switch cows, so we can run in the switch cows, milk them, we can run them out into here, and then we can have the rest of the cows come in and get milked. Because it's too hard to run them, because they're all going in the same pasture, so we need to have some way to kind of split them off. So we are going to work on cleaning this out today, getting it rebedded, trying to set it up a little bit to divert the water as best we can. It's not going to be, they're not going to be permanently housed in here where if it does rain, they're going to be wet. It's just a temporary holding area. Excuse me. I'm going to put the 1256 on the manure spreader. I know it's overkill for that little manure spreader, but it's got a cab on it in case it rains and I get trapped out in the rain. Plus I've got the John Deere still hooked to the Haybine and stuff. So that's sitting there, not hooked to anything. So we're just going to use that. Then I've got the cattle, when they come in and out of the barn, they're coming in and out of the front of the barn. I put these panels here to keep them. We used to just run them across the driveway, and that messed up the whole driveway. So then we were running them out the back of the barn, but to get to the pasture they're in, they have to go through this corral, and this corral needs to be totally redone. It's lower than this barn. It's the drainage from the whole yard runs through here. And it's just, it gets to be a mess, and it gets to be muddy when the cows are going through. Their bags get muddy, and it needs to be, I want to get this totally cleaned out, fill it back in with sand, get like a drainage grassway in here, kind of redo that whole area. But anyway, right now I don't want the cows going through there because it's a mess. So we're running them along the edge of the driveway, and this has been working pretty good. This is pretty much gravel here, and I'm going to try to get a little sand dumped on here now that it's getting wet. Get more little rocks sticking up kind of harder on your feet. But anyway, I got to take the skid steer, move this gate panel out of the way. We'll get the spreader, we'll get cleaning, and then we'll go from there. But we'll pop in the barn quick and I'll show you some of the recent calves we've gotten here. So here's our latest run of calves. So we got a little brown Swiss calf there. She was born, what, a couple days ago?
A couple days ago, yeah.
Yep. And then I've got a little Angus Holstein cross that was born last night or early this morning. So that one's just fresh in the barn. And this little Holstein was born last night. That one there, her mom actually got milk fever. She was down in the mud hole. I can show you her. She's in the barn now. All right, here's the mama. This is Spirit. She's doing good now. We brought her in. Jen went out and IV'd a bottle of calcium into her. We got her out of the muddy spot, got her under the grass. Jen IV'd her, and a couple minutes after she IV'd her, she jumped right up and ran right in the barn. So she's doing pretty good. That milk fever is kind of it definitely takes a toll on them, but she seems to be doing good now. So that's always good to see, because sometimes that can go 100% the other way, and they don't pull out of it. But it's nice when you can get them IV'd right away. That helps a lot. So anyway, so we have a kind of a calf and cow overflow problem here, so we got to clean that barn out, get some room for the switch cows, and then we also got to get some calf huts moved around, and we can get those calves out of the manger part there and into some huts, so the mangers don't get all messy and everything like that. So that's what we're going to work on today. All right, we got the first load in there. It's not super full. I'm spreading it on the hay field, so I don't want it heaped way up, so I'm getting big clumps out there. So it's gonna just be a couple smaller loads. I will run out and get this spread out.
Well, here's one of the hay fields that we have. He's just spreading in this corner. So it goes from there to there. And actually, over there somewhere is our oat field. And then over there is one of our corn fields. So yeah, that's how it is.
June 19th, 2024. I got that red barn cleaned out the other day there, and that's a couple days ago now, I think it was. We had some big storms come through last night. We didn't have any wind damage or any hail, I don't think. I think north of us further they had quite a bit of that, maybe some tornadoes even, which I'm glad we didn't get. But we got pounded with rain. I don't know how much we got. I didn't have a gauge out. We haven't got the cows in yet. It's a little after 5 o'clock in the morning. The kids are sweeping out the manger now, because with that barn being built in the hill, that manger gets full of water. Probably going to go do a crop check today to see if we had any more washouts, which I'm guessing we did. Because just looking at the corral here, I'm going to flip you around. We got some pretty good washouts in the corral. And this was some pretty good gravel up here that it cut into. So I have a kind of a bad feeling about the cornfield that there's going to be some pretty good washouts. But here's the barn that we cleaned out. So the cows got to use this for like 2 days. And what happened here, as you can see, I had a pretty good berm of gravel built up here, but it just washed so much dirt down from the yard, it just filled in the ditch I had and then just ran in there. So anyway, we'll go see how they're coming cleaning the manger out, and we will go check on that. once we get chores done, we'll probably run and do a crop check, see what the oats are looking like, see if they got flattened down at all. I'm hoping they didn't. And like I said, the corn, I don't know. I know some of you had mentioned when I showed the washout before about having a grass waterway there. And there's a couple spots up there that I've tried to do that, and it has worked a little. That particular spot that washed out is almost like a beach sand. I don't know how well grass would even hold there. And I don't know. I know my grandpa's tried a couple different things there that didn't really seem to work. So we haven't really done much there. But the way that field's got so many rolling little hills and stuff, you'd almost have to have them all over the place. So we'll go and see what it looks like, I guess. But anyway, we'll pop in the barn and see how the cleanup in there is looking. Well, it looks like they're getting it pretty good in there. I don't think it was too terribly bad in there. I've seen it worse. In 2012, when we got the big floods, it was coming in faster than I could clean it out. So the way that barn is built into the hill with the silo on the hillside, water just it just finds a way in there because it comes down the hill and hits the barn, and it gets in there wherever it can find a spot. So that's pretty common there. But anyway, so we're gonna have to try to get cows in and get them switched without being able to use the switch barn this morning. So we're gonna get that going now, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of what was going on here in the yard with the rain. Like I said, I don't think we had any wind damage or anything. It just, I mean, it came down even when we were finishing milking last night. Yet the whole driveway here, it was like two rivers just coming down through here. So there was a lot of water that came in a short amount of time. But anyway, we're going to keep going on here and get these cows milked, and then once we get done with that, maybe we'll run up and do a crop check. Well, we got chores pretty much wrapped up this morning. We're just going to get the feeder wagon filled up with corn silage. Where am I at? Right there. Jordan's sweeping it out. I put the 1066 on to go get it because it's so muddy out in the pasture. I could have taken the John Deere, but I got that still hooked to the Haybine, and 1256, I got the front tire off of that to get fixed, and 830s on the wrapper and whatever. And the B would pull it okay, but it's so greasy out there, I just don't have enough traction with that. So I just got the 10 back yesterday from the tire shop. If you remember last year, we put a radial tire on the one side because we had one blew out on the back. So I went and got another one for the other side. The duals aren't radial, but the main tires are. So got both radials on there now, so she can really pull now. But so yeah, it's a little overkill for the feeder wagon, but we didn't spin out, so that was good. So we're gonna go fill that now, get silage in there, and I'm gonna pull it out to the back part of the pasture. I think get the cows out of this front area is getting so muddy. Get them back out in the drier part of the pasture. So we'll get loaded up and see if they'll follow us out there. Well, I went down to check on our road down there to see if that was flooded or not, because I got the feed truck coming this afternoon, or hopefully. The water is up in the woods. The rivers come up, so it's in the woods below the road, but it's not up to the road yet. So I think that'll be good, because it sounds like we're not really supposed to get any rain for a couple days. So as long as it doesn't keep adding to it, other than the fact that they got a lot of rain, I think a lot more rain north of us, and the Moosehorn and the Kettle River, which run around and meet back here, if they fill up more over the day, it could back this one up down here, but I think it'll be pretty good. I stopped by this field of oats. I was really worried that with all the way the rain came down that we were going to have a lot of lodging, but it looks really good. I think because we didn't have the wind, that that helped a lot. And I did put potash on here before I planted it, and that helps with the stalk strength too. They're finally starting to head out now. which is good. I mean, these are nice. These are knee high here. I'm sure there's some places on some of the knobs where it's shorter, but I don't see anything lodged at all. I'm kind of looking down here. My dad got these sprayed the other day before this rain, and I'm so glad of that, because if he wouldn't have got that done when he did, we wouldn't have been able to get them sprayed. And it looks like the spray must be working, because the weeds are looking pretty sickly. So that's good. We'll, as long as we're in the pickup driving around, we'll run up and check on that one cornfield there where we had the washouts before and see what that oat field looks like too. This is the field here that we put the liquid manure on, and I don't really see any washouts that are, there was a couple little washouts in here from that first rain, but I do see we're holding a little bit of water right here, and then over in that hole, it's holding some water. If that hopefully goes down here pretty soon, I think the corn will still make it, because all the corn is up. But if those spots stay underwater too long, it'll probably drown that corn out. There's another hole over the hill there, but I don't know. I haven't seen yet if there's any water standing in there. But I haven't gotten a rain gauge yet. My neighbor's got a kind of a little weather station thing, so he usually lets me know what we got for rain. So I haven't replaced my rain gauge yet, but I probably should get one, so I don't have to keep bothering him. But we'll run up and check the other field. This is the field here that we square baled. The second crop is coming back nice, so that's good. We should have a nice second crop coming in. That's why part of the reason I was kind of in a hurry to get some of these fields off that I could get into that are lighter soil, because I figured with all this rain we could definitely get a good second crop. Yeah, so there's that big washout, and kind of starts up. There's a rock pile with the camera focus. There's a rock pile over there. My finger keeps messing it up. And we kind of added on to that rock pile years ago, because that's kind of where it starts. And then of course all this valley, you know, runs into here too, but it comes from the hay field way back through, and that seemed to help quite a bit. But it yeah, I don't know if a grass waterway would help this much or not, because I have a feeling the way this is, it's just, I mean, unless you grass in this whole hillside. But I mean, I'm 39 years old, and in 39 years I've never seen it wash out this bad here. So I don't know what made it worse this year. If we just had so much moisture that the ground is already soft, and then with a big rain it just come and cut right in. As you get down, we're actually down to rock now, and there's sand on the top. But I don't know, I might have to try to get some old round bales or something up here and kind of stack in here and see if I can slow this down, because I'm sure this isn't the last rain we're going to get. But like I said, the corn that's here looks good. We're just going to have to work around these washouts, make sure we don't drop something into these, because that's deep. Well, hey everybody, welcome back. It's June 21st. A few days since the last video we took here. I have to apologize for this video being kind of scattered out over a few days and just kind of miscellaneous projects, but there hasn't really been too much going on with the rain and stuff we've been getting, so just kind of trying to put something together for you. One project that I've been working on, we got the New Holland 489 Haybine here. The bearing, the outer bearing on the lower conditioning roller went out right when I got done cutting over on the last hay we made there. Right towards the end, I heard it rattling, a little banging a little bit, and it was totally gone. All the rollers or the ball bearings in there were gone, so it was just the 2 races left. So the other day I pulled it up and took it apart. I did not get any video doing that, but I kind of figured I'd show you what I did and what I've got going on here. So I've got the plates here. So here's your 2 housings that hold the outer race of the bearing. And then this plate goes on here. So like if you're going to pull the roller out, you can take this plate out, and then the roller shaft will slide out of here. I took this off because I was trying to get the inner race off of the shaft. I wound up just having to take the torch and cut it off. I don't like doing that unless I absolutely have to, just because I don't want to gouge the shaft at all or anything, but I don't think I did. It looks like it was pretty good, but I tried heating it and different stuff. I tried getting a puller on it. Nothing seemed to work. It was pretty on there. So but if I would have known I was going to cut it off, I would have just left this on and cut it off. Not that this I don't think was a huge deal. It didn't come off too bad. We'll see how getting it lined up to go back on is, but I don't think it'll be too bad. So the bearing, I went to the local parts store first. So this, the outer race, and then the locking collar on the old one. So I went to the local parts store, took the race that I had and the dimensions of the shaft, and they couldn't get one. They called their bearing supplier. That's all they deal with is bearings. They couldn't get one. He did find a listing for one, but he couldn't get it. It wasn't available through them. And I think the price on that one was like $220 or something like that. So I went to the New Holland dealer here. I called them up, and he actually had one on the shelf, and I can give you the part number for that. I don't know if it'll might not zoom in here, but I can read it off. So it's a GN 106 KRRB. Yeah, it's not going to focus in very well there, but so that's a GN 106 KRRB. And yeah, they had one. The bearing with a new lock collar was like $120. So it still wasn't a super cheap bearing by any means, but I can't run without it. So, and it was a lot cheaper than the one the parts store listed, and they couldn't get it anyway. So anyway, so I got that now. So we're going to try to get this back together. I'm hoping today's Friday, talking some rain today through tomorrow. And then Sunday, I think the next week after that, starting Sunday, is supposed to be decent. I think there's some chances of rain, but nothing really forecasted. So I think Monday, I'm going to go down and start cutting some hay. I got another probably 10 acres or so here to make yet that I'll wrap. And I've got another field, a bigger field that I could get into, but I don't know. We went down there and checked. That field is really old seeding, and I mean, there's some trefoil and stuff in there, but a lot of daisies. And so if that field, it was pretty thin too. So if that one doesn't get made till later, I'm not too worried about it. If I could get weather to make it dry now, but I don't think it's worth wrapping. It's nothing too great. But anyway, we'll see if we can get this back together. Clean it up a little. Got a little rust on it. Had a couple shots of rain. I also did, before I took it apart, took my little air grinder with the rubber fingered wheel on it, and this end of the shaft was all paint yet, so I cleaned that off just to get the lock collar and stuff to come off easier. quite want to line up. Started. I'll tighten them all the way down yet. Don't know why that one's being trouble. There we go. Just needed a little bit of persuasion. These bolts are a carriage bolt, so I would probably recommend trying not to knock those in, because with the roller there, it looks like it could be a real pain to try to get them back into there. These ones here that hold the bearing in, there's nuts on the back that are welded to it, but these other ones are carriage bolts. This Haybine should really have new rollers because the rubber is starting to come apart on the top one, but I think those rollers are probably cost more than the machine's worth, so guess we'll just keep using it like it is for now. You hate to put $2,000 in rollers in a machine that's worth $1,500. I don't know what happened to this hole here, but the groove for the head on the carriage bolt is rounded out, so it doesn't want to tighten up right. It doesn't want to hold. Put a vice grip on it. Okay, there's that. Now, before we get too carried away, I gotta make sure I put the first collar on.
A good thing it's not the top one. That looks like a real pain in the butt.
Yeah, that looks like that one could be a little bit trickier.
You gotta take the spring out. It's the main thing.
You could probably do it without taking the spring out, but
that'd be kind of tricky, yeah.
Be a little trickier. Or one of the ones on the other side, then you got to pull the shafts off, and
oh really?
They're kind of working under the hood over there. So I guess if one was going to go out, this is the one.
Well, kind of glad this one was.
Let's see.
Didn't you put grease on those?
No, these are sealed.
I
got a burr on the end.
What's a burr?
If the shaft is a little bit burred, like flared up.
I see.
Maybe grab a file on that end a little bit.
So it's all done.
This light tap to go on. And I didn't think I was trying to get that inner race loose before, and I didn't think I was tapping on the end of this that hard, but it ain't no big deal. There's nothing out on the end anyway, so filing on that shaft isn't going to hurt anything. On top of that, there's the old ring.
Oh.
Can you grab it? No, yeah, the red one.
The red one? Do you need a new one?
I got a new one, yeah.
But is the old one better?
Well, no, I was going to use this to...
Oh, the hammer on it.
Put a couple of these in just to start with.
What size are those?
3/4, or they're 1/2-inch bolts. 3/4-inch head.
So if I'm right, the socket has to be a size bigger than the bolt?
No, it's more than a size, but yeah, like a 1/2-inch bolt will have a 3/4-inch head.
That way?
That goes that way.
Then where does your ring go on?
That goes on the...
And
Put these on first so we make sure the bearing gets in the right place, and then we'll put the lock ring on. There's that. Lock it on, and then we'll tighten down the Allen head.
that it?
That's the one. There. All right, now we'll fire it up and see if it's going to work. Looking good. Well, there we go. We got that fixed, taken care of, so that should be good. So it should be, other than grease it up again, it should be ready to cut for Monday. So hopefully that works out all right. I also wanted to offer up our thoughts and prayers to everybody that got flood damage, or is still, I think there's some people up in Duluth and way north of us up on the Iron Range. They got a lot more rain than we did out of that last big blast. Pretty much the only damage we had of anything was that big washout up in the cornfield, which is nothing compared to flooded basements and flooded houses. And I don't know if anybody was injured or killed in any of that flooding, but I know Duluth had it really bad. Faraway Farms, if you check out his YouTube channel, he's north further up on the range there. He had his whole pasture was flooded and dealing with a lot more water. I think we got like 2.5 inches, and I think there's places that got like 5-6 inches up there, and it came down just in a big downpour. So I wanted to just offer our thoughts and prayers for those people dealing with that. One One last thing I did want to touch on with that washout up in the cornfield. I've been doing a lot of thinking about that and why it got so bad this year. I mean, that field has been corn pretty much my whole life, other than the exception of a couple of years that it was small grain. But and we've had washouts there in the past, nothing like this. Usually they're nothing that you can't drive through, and I know a lot of people had mentioned putting in a grass waterway there. And I think the reason that that had never been done before was just because it was never really that big of an issue. I think we had, you know, occasionally there would be a year where it was bad enough you had to drive around it, but we'd usually just fill it in when we plowed. You'd plow and you'd kind of go with the drag and fill it in. It was no big deal. There was one year, the worst one I can remember, it had a spot where the water had swirled and it kind of made a deep hole. My old dump truck there, I think we dumped 2 loads of dirt in there, barnyard black dirt, and that filled it up. This is way more than that. I think this, when I can get in there, is going to take 6-8 loads, maybe more, depending on if we get more washout. But I've been trying to figure out why in all these years we've never had it like this. And a grass waterway is something I'm probably going to have to start looking into. I think one of the reasons is just with better herbicides and stuff over the years, we've gotten a lot better weed control. I mean, that field is virtually weed free. So I think not having any weeds in there, probably, you know, that acts as a little bit of a grass waterway. Another thing, a lot of the times that field was the first one planted. So that corn was usually up a lot more when we'd start getting into this time of the year, when you get your bigger, heavier rains. So your corn is acting also as a buffer to slow that water down. Where the first rain we got that started the washout, that corn was just barely coming out of the ground. So it was able to get flowing real heavy and start cutting a trench. And now the trench is in there and it's just going full bore now. So I'm hoping we don't get any more big heavy downpours like that keep making it worse. I was going to go up with some old round bales and try to block it some, but I don't know. I'm kind of worried about doing that and then just causing the water to go around those and make it wider. I don't know. You can leave your thoughts on that in the comments if you think that would be worthwhile to do. But yeah, I am thinking about maybe trying to start some kind of a grass waterway up there next year. Possibly even going in there this fall with the grain drill, get that hole filled in, and then maybe take the grain drill with some winter rye and seed that in. That seems like that rye gets a really good heavy root base, especially that's really light sand there. So you need something that's going to hold in that sand. So I'm thinking about maybe trying to do that, some other options, and then maybe just start leaving that as a grass waterway. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is the first time in the 30 years that I can remember that it's been that bad of a washout. So I guess that's probably the main reason that it's never been let grass waterway grow in there, is just because it hasn't been that big of an issue. But it's obviously something we're going to have to deal with and probably start putting in there. And when you get, 2.5 inches of rain or more, and it comes down that hard, I mean, there's washouts just in places up there just between the rows. That's just, sometimes you just can't prevent it either. When Mother Nature decides to dump a bunch of water on you, sometimes that stuff, you just can't help it. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. I know it was kind of all over the place, but should be getting into some haymaking again here this next week. So thank you all again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.